LOS and ALS times for you this pass with mid-set. LOS 109er plus 21 plus 12. ALS coming around the corner 110 0735. Over. Roger out. Okay, if you'd like to look again, next pass we have a different set of coordinates based on the onboard T-57. These are echo decimal 3 and 4 decimal 8. I say again, echo decimal 3, 4 decimal 8. Same chart, over. Roger. Latitude plus 0 decimal 523. Longitude divided by 2, 11 decimal 710. Over. Roger that. There we go. Roger, that's clear. That's clear, but I think it's the same problem. Any rebuzz? Loud and clear. You're really coming in beautifully, over. Okay, stay. I guess we're out to BGA. And go. Alright, put radio. Roger, LOS and ALS times for you this pass with mid-set. LOS 109er plus 21 plus 12. ALS coming around the corner 110 07.
All right, let's do this. Time for some Thursday night code and chill. We're gonna write a little bit of code tonight. We're gonna do some pixel art tonight. Working on Descent Horizon. Got my White Claw. Should be chill. So I've been working a bunch on the level design for the game, like painting out the terrain by hand. I'm really close to being done with it. I think I maybe need like another day or so, maybe a little longer. But I've gotten to this point in there where I pre-designed some of the terrain and I kind of rethought about how I wanted to do it, and so I want to go redo it. But I don't have any way of doing that in the level editor right now without like deleting the entire terrain polyline and then having to like rebuild it. Like I'll show you guys in the editor here. So if I go to Act 0, you see that there's like this area over here, right? This part is fine once it's been filled out and all that, it looks fine. But I changed my mind about how I want this area to look. I want it to be more flat. And originally the idea was that you fly your lander through this kind of tube thing here, and then eventually you reach this chasm, right? And you would bring your lander through this little opening and land inside the chasm. I changed my mind a little bit about how I want that to work. I want to force the player to get out of the lander and then walk into the chasm during EVA. Now to do that, I need to redesign this whole area, right? I need some flat area kind of in this spot. So I want to keep the tube as is, right? Like the little cave passage, like that's fine. But I want to basically make a flat little landing area here where you could land with the lander, and then an area kind of like this where it's like two things coming together. But it needs to be smaller than the size of the lander so the lander can't fit through, so that the player can see like, okay, I can't fit the lander through that, but like I can probably climb out and then walk, you know? So that's the plan right now. And so I've been working on this collider edit flow here, right? So I can click on the collider, and what I need to do is I need to say, hey, like, I need to be able to replace all of these points with some set of new points. So I've already kind of set it up where I can go into the collider, I can click on a specific point, and then I can do Shift R to redraw those points. But this is as far as I've gotten. So I leave the old points there just so you can see what it looked like before. But ideally at this point is where I now can start actually building out the new terrain chunk, and then I would eventually just re-click it onto that other point, and then that would finish it off. And then this part would get replaced. So we have the code for that kind of already in place. But there's in my collider edit behavior, what I did is I set up a new vector called redraw segment points, and basically it's just the points that are getting redrawn. What I mean by that is, like, it's the not the points that already exist in the collider, it's the new points that we're going to be replacing into the collider. So right now it's not being used anywhere. It's just there. So what I need to do is on click, let me see, I think I have a on mouse click in here. Yeah, so if editing collider, I handle collider edit click. Now if we're not editing the collider, which we won't be technically, it's like, this is a weird flow because it's like not creating a collider. Maybe I might need to like rename this to like creating collider or like extending collider, and then redrawing segment is just like I'm redrawing a part of that collider, you know. So if is redrawing segment, then I'll just return handle, I don't know, collider redraw click, something like that. And then since it'll never get down here if it is redrawing segment, then we can remove this statement. And then where do we have, I have handle collider edit click, so handle collider edit click, so void handle collider redraw click. And that basically would just make it so that if we're in the middle of redrawing the collider, we can have our own flow instead of the collider edit. But I do want to see collider edit click. I just want to see how I'm doing it, because I basically need to do this effectively. Like, it's the exact same thing, except I am going to be putting those points into that other list of, into that other vector of points. And then at the end, like once we've merged, or like once we're done redrawing the collider, I'll just take that vector and like mash it into the existing collider, if that makes sense. So effectively what we need is this mouse world position thing. We won't have to check if we have a focus collider because we already do. We know that we do. And then is shift held. Yeah, I think we can copy something like this for the other flow as well, and that way we can snap the final point. Yeah, okay. So right now I'm just gonna grab this whole chunk. I don't need all of it, but I'll grab the whole thing, and then I will create this new function in here, game editor, collider edit behavior, handle collider redraw. Okay. I definitely want the mouse world position, So we're gonna keep that. Editor state UI model. Do I need that in here? What was I using editor state for? Interesting. I have it in here, but then I don't. Oh, because I was doing has unsaved changes. Equals true. Okay, I think I might want to keep that, but that'll move to another spot. I'm gonna drop this. I don't need the focus collider stuff. If is shift held, then what I want to do is over here I have the 2 points that get selected for like the points in between where we're editing. I store them. Where do I store them? Focused collider, focused vertices. It's a very long name. So what I want to do is, if shift is held and you click, then first point is going to be focused collider points. Well, I guess not first point. Let me think through this. Basically, what I'm thinking is, like, when you shift click, it'll take your existing. Do I even need that? Yeah, I don't think I need that. Okay. If shift is held, what we'll do. Oh, that's interesting. Regenerate pointer region for collider. Yeah. Okay. I want to exit collider segment redraw mode. And then I also want to call this regenerate and then return. Because basically the idea is that that would be connecting it. I can remove that. Editor state. And then honestly, I think the only time where we want to actually show that there's something to save, because this is like an atomic operation, it's either you did it or you didn't. So I don't want to show, hey, there's like unsaved changes if you start doing a collider edit and then just you can press escape to back out of it, you know? So until you've like pressed shift and clicked and then like recombined the colliders or the polyline for the terrain, I don't want to show a save thing. So that's good in that spot. Now, instead of focused collider points, we'll do focus, it's redraw segment points. So redraw segment points, and then get nearest points following snapping criteria. Why does this take in 2 points? Previous point and current point. Okay. So the previous point would be it would be the redraw segment points back. It would be like the last one in that list. And then the current mouse world position. I think that's correct. Yeah, honestly, this might be all we need for this function. This is questionable. I'll leave it there because I want to remember. I want to have a Command Z and Command R like available so I can undo and redo. But I might have to like change the name of that because it's Focus Collider Redo Stack. I don't know. I'll see. Because we technically do have a Focused Collider at this point. But I don't know. Okay. Focus collider, focused vertices. Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking we have the handle collider redraw click. after we finish doing, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So we need to handle the render, because right now there's nothing rendering this like redraw line. So there's an on render. Is it just called render? Yeah, it's just called render. So I'll do a render redraw segment. That obviously doesn't exist. So we'll create it. Render redraw segment. Okay. Now we actually have to go and define that render function. I'll put it after the render focused collider function. Oops. Okay. Void game editor. I'm gonna make it a little bit of a different collider, different color, because I want to see what the like updated section looks like. These guys with their AI chat, AI things. Okay, collider edit behavior, render, redraw segment. Now, if I don't have a redraw segment, if not is redrawing segment, just return. Yeah. Then what I can do is honestly basically exactly what's happening here, except I do it for the redraw segment points instead of the focused collider points. So here we'll do redraw seg. Jesus, I can't type. Is it not redraw segment? Redraw. What did I call it? Yeah, redraw segment points. Yeah, redraw segment points. Okay, there we go. I don't need that. Previous is gonna be redraw segment points I-1, and then current is gonna be redraw segment points I. I'm never gonna have a skip segment thing, so I can remove that. Okay, and then I'll draw this is gonna be a little bit different though, because the line between the line from the first like to the first segment point of the redraw is going to be coming from the focused collider. So I'm going to need to do so for I equals, like, I would have to start from I equals 2. Because I equals 1, actually let me think about this. If I equals 0, yeah. Okay, that's actually fine. So for the first point, or for the first line segment, I will just do it manually, like outside the loop. So basically here it's gonna be redraw. It's gonna start. So the second point in this segment is gonna be the redraw segment points 0, right? As a matter of fact, I'll protect against this here. Or not, or redraw segment points empty. So if it's empty, we'll skip as well. So here we'll definitely have at least 1, right? And then here, we want this to be coming from the focused collider, the collider that we're editing. So we'll do focused collider. And we're gonna get, we have the, it's gonna be the beginning of our focused collider, focused vertices. So it's a bit of a mouthful, but dot begin. And I want the, since that's a pointer, I have to dereference it. Yeah. Okay. I think that works, but let me see, because this is complaining. What's the error? No conversion from collider 2D to point. Oh, right. I need to get the points from the focused collider. Yeah. All right. And then I'm going to use the color green here. In this case, I think it's mapped to like my key called success in the theme or something like that. Here, same thing. These can stay the same. And then this is just the dot, like the little vertex dot. So, and here we had it changing color depending on some conditional, but in this case we just want it to be green always. All right, I think that should more or less work for showing everything and for like allowing us to exit the collider mode. It's not going to actually save it though. Like if I shift click, it's not going to actually update the collider yet. But I want to check my work before I continue, you know? Oh man, it's been like crazy out here in New York. There's like the wildfire smoke coming down from Canada, and it's been super smoggy, like really bad air quality out there. Okay, back into here, we're gonna go and edit this collider. So we're gonna head into collider edit mode. I'm gonna click on this specific collider for the terrain. I'm gonna click on this point and that point, and I'm gonna hit Shift R to go into collider like redraw mode, right? So now in theory, I get a seg fault. Okay, so there's something going on there. That's fine. So we need to figure out, are we having a seg fault because of the render or because of the click? Let me just statically analyze this really quick before I because redraw segment point 0 should exist, right? We check for it here, make sure it's not empty, so it's gonna have a first thing. And then focused collider, focused vertices shouldn't get cleared out when we start either. I mean, here, I'll see out into render. So if we see that, and then I'll put one at the end, just so that we know if the render finished. I'm gonna guess though that we're not gonna see that. And then I'm guessing that it's gonna be on click, what did I call it? Collider, where was it? Handle collider redraw click, handle. So here, we clear that out. We get the mouse world position. We update the editor state. This all seems fine. Oh, why do I have this in here still? If not focused collider, I create a new collider. This is not ever going to happen, so we can go ahead and drop that. Oh wait, that's handle collider edit click, my bad. This is it. Okay, so we get the mouse world position. If shift is held, then we'll do all this stuff, but shift was not held when I clicked that time. Redraw segment points. Oh, well, that actually makes sense. The first time I click, I'm not gonna have anything in here, right? So I'm trying to Yeah, that's the problem. That's where the set call is coming from. I'm trying to pass in a point that doesn't actually exist. If it doesn't exist, if there's no point already in there, I think what I want to do is put a ternary here, actually. So if it's empty, then I'm gonna get it from the focused collider. Otherwise, I'll get it from the back. So we'll do focused collider. Oops. Points. And it's gonna be the focused collider, focused vertices. This is a bad name. That begin. Yeah. Okay. And then that way, it'll get the nearest point following the snapping criteria. Okay. Let's try to build that again. Okay. Looks like that build finished. Once again, hop into this map file, go into collider edit mode, select this collider for editing, choose this point and this point, shift R to enter the edit mode, and then I click somewhere. Okay, cool. So now this is how we would be potentially extending, right, our thing. And then in theory, I would shift click and then boom, it would be done, right? That doesn't actually save it because we haven't written the code to do that, but now we have a proper visualization of how it changes. All right, to render, I'm going to remove those little logs that ended up not being useful. Okay. Render redraw segment. All right, so now we have, where is it? Exit collider edit mode. And then we have exit segment redraw mode, right? I need some way of actually merging the redrawn collider into taking the section that we just added, the redrawn vertices, and putting them into the focused collider. So I'm thinking I can just do that here, right? So if I hold shift and I click, it's gonna go ahead and finish, like, finalize my my connection there. So let's see. I have basically what I need to do is I need to replace points inside of a list, because I think Collider 2D has points. Is that a vector? Oh, it's a vector. Okay. So focused collider has points. The points are a vector. So what I need to do is replace between certain vertices in that vector. Let me see if there's an easy way to do that in C++. C++, vector place between. To replace a subrange, elements between 2 points, you can use either the erase and insert method or copy and fill if it's the same number of elements. It's not going to be guaranteed to be the same number of elements though. So yeah, I think what we want is the erase and insert. Yeah. Okay, that's workable. So what I'll do is focused collider points dot erase, and I'm gonna choose. I need a, okay, so it's gonna be vec dot, so focused collider begin plus it's going to be the focused collider focused vertices begin. That's going to be the first point, if that makes sense, that we're going to be replacing. And then focused collider dot begin focused collider focused vertices dot R begin, I guess. It's going to be just, there's only going to be two elements in this list in the vector. What don't you like about this? Is a pointer. Did you mean to use? Oh, yeah, I did mean to. And I meant to use focus points begin. That's why. Yeah. Okay. So this is, we do the erase. That's gonna give us, this will give us a new, like a new pointer to the, or a new iterator to the end of that range so that we can insert there again. And then focused collider points dot insert, yeah, insert, starting from the position after the deletion, after the erase finished. And then we want to take, what did I call it again? Redraw segment. Yeah, redraw segment points begin all the way to redraw segment points end. So just copy the entire thing in. And then this is going to exit the redraw mode, and then this is going to go and update the pointer region for that collider. Cool. I think that's what we want. Let's try building that. Because yeah, I want to, that area, it's, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a spoiler. That's a Easter egg area that I'm adding, that we're working on. There's gonna be something in there, but I don't like the shape of how that cavern came out. Okay, I want the cavern to be kind of open because it's supposed to look like it collapsed from the top once I finish like painting that area. But in order for it to look like that, I need it to what's the word? I need to be able to edit the collider. Okay, so back in here, collider edit mode, edit that collider, and click these 2 points, Shift R to replace, and then we'll just keep it simple for now. Shift click, oh shit, look at that. Okay, so that worked. Let me save that. If all went well, we can go ahead and restart the level editor. I open it back up, and okay, yeah, that works. Boom. And now if I click the collider, awesome. Awesome. All right, so now this is where we're gonna start creating the new area of that level. The nice thing is, all we really need, we need a little bit more space here, right, for the lander to land, and then we just need to like kind of bring down an overhang to make it look like there's very little space so that the lander can't fit there. So once again, I'm gonna grab these 2 points, Shift R them. Let's see, so these 10-meter increments, so I want to do something like this. And then I have some snapping settings which determine like how the terrain can go, and that's just because of some like rules that my world has to follow with how many inclinations I support. It just like lets me get away with not having to draw as many tiles as I might otherwise had to have. Okay, so 10 meters, like from here to here, this is about 10 meters. That's about the size of the lander. So this is literally just enough space for the lander to just touch down here. So I'm thinking, I'll give it like 20 meters of landing area space. And then that's roughly 20. A nice flat-ish thing because player is going to be walking here in their terrain and on this terrain. Yeah, about 10 meters, 20 meters, give or take. So you can land the lander here. And then, I mean, honestly, the funny thing is like the cavern like thing that comes down should kind of come down here, and then the ground from here should continue to be relatively flat, and we have to draw this segment as a loop. So I'm just gonna, it's weird, like you're gonna have to bear with me here as I do this. And then there's supposed to be a structure in here that's gonna be, I'd say, I don't know, like maybe like 30 meters in size. So we need to make sure that we make this at least that big. So I'm thinking we want to, if we want to bring this from, so right here is where that overhang would be. So from 10 meters, we need at the minimum 30. So at the minimum, we need to go to 1040 in here. But I think we probably want to go a little further. So it doesn't look like the cavern was specifically made for the structure that's going to be in here. So I'm thinking maybe we do like double. So because we only need to go to 1040, we're going to go to like 1070, 1080. Give or take. And then we'll wrap it around in that area. So literally just like placing random little lines, trying to make the angles of these reasonable. You know what I should have done before I started this? I should have implemented the undo and redo for the collider edit, like the collider redraw thing, because right now if I fuck up, I can't really Command Z. I guess what I could do is I could close it off and then do another redraw after I save. I think that would work, more or less. Okay, it's looking good so far. Like I said, we're gonna go towards like 1070-ish. I'm just trying to keep this area relatively flat because the player is not going to have access to their lander in here. I don't want them to effectively get stranded because the player can only like walk up like 45-degree inclinations. So I could do like something more like that, you know. But okay, now here, that's enough space. Right, so here I can just start, it's going to be kind of like a cavern looking thing, so I can kind of start to go up and make the cavern walls, you know. I have to also be mindful here, so I want to make sure that this is tall enough that the player can actually see the top of the cavern as they're walking, you know. Or at least has the opportunity to see the top when they like use their mouse to like look up. So like that means it needs to be what, like 30 meters high at the most. So if we're starting at roughly, what is this, 423, we want to make sure we don't go any higher than 455 for this entire thing. So just something I'm keeping in mind as I'm doing this. Somewhere around here, I want to start kind of like flattening out the roof of the cavern, if you will. It's gonna look like a funny little pocket, but I think it's fine. The nice thing is if this ends up being a little too high up, I can use the same redraw tool to bring it down a bit. Now I have, it's funny to say this, but now I have the luxury of trial and error. Whereas before, like, I had to design my entire map kind of in one shot. And then if something came out wrong, it was much more of a pain in the ass. Dobry večer. Hey, Corbin. How's it going, man? How's your week been, man? Okay, so cavern roof is going to be roughly over here. So roughly the little overhang is going to be kind of over here. So what I wanted is I wanted there to be like almost like a collapsed portion of this cavern. So I'm going to kind of I'm going to bring it out and then I'm going to taper it. Actually, if a collapse happened, would it be more like this, or would it be more like this? The angle of the rock. Work sucks, but pretty good otherwise. Yeah, dude, tell me about it. But that's good. I'm glad to hear you're doing well, man. Still dealing with like the deploy stuff from last time, or did you guys end up getting that figured out? Okay, so I think I feel like if a cavern collapsed, it would almost be like a nice straight shear kind of thing. Meaning like, I don't know actually. It's like I'm thinking, okay, landslide comes in a way from the top since things get destabilized. Yeah, I think that's what would happen actually. I'll have to look at images in a bit to like confirm, but I'm thinking it does something like this. Now I don't have to go too far with this. I think like a couple more meters. And then I can kind of do something a little ugly and just go like this. Because the player, in theory... Fuck, I think I took that one too far. Actually, it doesn't matter. The player, in theory, should never see that area. But right around here, I'll start bringing it back in. And I want to bring this out over to... Let's see, how big should this gap be? It should be from 1020 to 1060. It's like a 40-ish meter gap. Okay, so I want to bring it down to like over there. All right. Still a lot of fires that keep coming up. Latest issue though is personnel. Oh, you guys having like turnover or something like that, or people not wanting to work? Low motivations. Okay. So continuing kind of this same trend here. This side should look a little different, but still the same overall slope, I think. I have to make sure I don't bring this at like past 1,030 meters. Because that's where we are saying that the collapse happened. Damn, you know, I'm thinking like I'll have to maybe play with this a little bit more, but this does not seem like the most convincing shape right now, to me at least. For like a collapsed region. Okay, now we said around 1010 we wanted like a low cavernous dip. So kind of following with that line here. Now the player is only what, like 2 meters tall, so we don't need a lot of space. We just need to make sure that this dip is low enough that the lander can't possibly fit. That's kind of my main concern here. But I feel like this is already low enough that the lander can't fit, because this is only, it's 430 down to 427. I do want to be careful with it, because I don't want there to be any chance that the lander can fit. So I think something like this makes it very clear. Like there's, oh shit, wait, that's too far. That's way too far. I need it to be done over here. What am I doing? Okay, fine. I can actually just redo that portion. So I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna click here, redraw. Actually, let me save. Click here, and then click here, redraw. Okay, there we go. By this point, by 1010, I should already be lower than that though. So I'm gonna click here and here and redraw that. Now I need to bring this down further. Something like this. Yeah, a much more steep decline there. And then like honestly a pretty steep incline to give space for the lander to actually land, you know? Okay, I can close that off there. It's bad enough that I had to take melatonin tonight. I got about 30 minutes till I pass out. Oof, damn, dude. It's painful. Well, I hope it gets better, dude. That really sucks. Cause yeah, when shit starts messing with your sleep, that's no fun. Okay. This is more or less okay. Before I commit to it, I want to go and like play. I want to go physically walk in here, and see how it feels. But in order to do that, I need to go and change some stuff about the game level, the way that it's being loaded right now. Where do I want to go? It's in the main game scene. I render terrain. Render terrain. There you go. Render terrain. Somewhere in here, I swear, I was loading a mask. Let me just look for mask. There we go. Okay, so I just did it in like straight up in the render. I'm gonna remove this temporarily. So LV, Shift I, boom. Let's save that. And then I'm gonna build it. Oh, just SB. My bad. How's your progress on your game coming though, Corbin? Have you had time to work on that, or you just been fighting fires at work? Getting ready to do a test build with the GMs. Oh, that's exciting, man. That's awesome. How often are you guys doing test builds? And like, do you guys all hop on together and like do like a little virtual online party kind of thing? Because you said it's an MMO, right? If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure I remember that being the case. Currently doing test builds of 3.x final patch, which is still the old engine. Okay. So is your next build going to be with the new engine then? Next month will be web-based. Oh, that's exciting. That's really awesome. You guys should do like a little launch party kind of thing for that. Like maybe even add like, you do like a RuneScape style thing, you know, where like you add party hats or something and give each person a party hat celebrating 4.0. Might go live on Twitch. Dude, ping me. I'd love to watch. Sounds awesome. Sounds really cool. That's really exciting. That's like 10 years worth of work culminating. That's awesome, man. I have like an obsession with sunflower seeds. They're so good. I have like these 2 bowls on my desk where I just keep them stocked. Right now I'm actually out. I just finished my bowl of sunflower seeds. I have 1 bowl for the source seeds. These are the seeds that are uneaten. And I have another bowl where I put the shells of the seeds that I have eaten. It's a really nice system. It's really like 6 months of focused work on the final product that I decided I want to build after many years of dreaming, doing little prototypes and generally failing. Okay, but it's still like all that prototyping isn't like lost work, you know what I mean? Like you still like did all the prototyping to get you to the point where you understood what you wanted at a very concrete level, you know? LLMs got smart enough to let me do what I want with my room temperature IQ. I doubt it, man. You seem really smart. Room temperature IQ. This guy, Mr. Humble over here. Dude, speaking of LLMs, I had a very interesting interaction this past week. I didn't realize people are like extremely polar about LLM usage. Like I'm in like a few different Discords, but there was a Discord channel where somebody was asking like, oh, how does everybody feel about using AI to like get better at, I forget exactly how he wrote it. It was like using AI to get better with like understanding code, you know? And I responded, I'm like, hey, like, yeah, go for it. Like, don't use the AI to generate the code for you if you want to actually understand it and you want to get better at it. But like using it for looking up documentation or just like general code suggestions, stuff like that, it's, you know, it's like a personal tutor. Go for it. And that whole conversation, like people started chiming in and like it devolved into basically me being an AI bro because I said that it's a tool that can be used for some purposes and it wasn't good for others. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm very, like the way that I view myself, and maybe I don't know, from the outside maybe it seems different, but I feel like I'm very AI neutral, you know? Like I don't encourage people to use AI, but I don't discourage it either, you know? I don't care. Whatever works, right? It's like it's a tool and you use it, and if you use it correctly, you can get results that you're happy with, you know? And sometimes you'll use it for something that you won't get good results, and that's it. It's not a big deal. But people are very anti-AI. It's like we were saying last week, it's a very polarizing topic. Yeah, like I thought it was, you know, how would I say it? Like polarizing, but not like to that extent. Like I knew people were kind of like on one side or the other, like, oh yeah, use it or don't use it, it's gonna make you stupid or whatever. But like this was like extreme to the point where basically saying that you like someone said that if you use AI at all, you are supporting the removal or like the removal of humans in creative processes, which I feel like is a really strong statement. Because I'm like, you know, if I want to do something creative, I can do it creative and I don't need to use AI, right? Like if I'm an artist, right, and I want to draw something, then I can just draw something. I don't need to use AI to do it, right? But if I don't want to draw something, but I need it drawn, I can use it. You know, I think art is a little more tricky because, I mean, it as with anything, there's nuance, right? But like, for example, my profile picture on Discord is AI, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, the normal flow is I'm gonna go on Google and I'm gonna find a picture that I like, I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna use that as my profile photo. The other option is I draw something myself. Fine, I could, if I want to, if I care to, and I want something that's super custom to me, I can go ahead and draw it myself. But like either way, like in one flow, the flow where I go on Google and I download something, like the 99% of people are not crediting the artist or whatever wherever they got it from. It's not that big of a deal, right? And then if you draw it yourself, well, it's you, so it doesn't matter. But like, in what case? I mean, I'm sure people do this, but like, how many people are going and hiring an artist to make them a profile photo, right? Like that's not common, because like, who cares about your profile photo, you know? Unless you're a business and you have a brand or whatever, that's different. But like for the average person, you're not hiring someone to make a profile photo for a personal Discord or something, you know? But yeah, they were basically arguing that me using AI to generate a profile photo for my Discord was stealing work from an artist. But like, I wasn't going to hire an artist to make a profile photo for me anyway. So it was either that or I go download something off Google, you know? So I don't know. Well, about 25% of the time I still drive my car by hand, even though it can take me there completely automated. I do, because sometimes I actually enjoy driving. Traffic sucks, but highway cruising is nice. And what I deal with all of them. Yeah, my perspective on it is like, if I want to do it myself, nothing is stopping me from doing it myself, right? Like AI existing is not preventing me from writing all the code for my game by hand, right? It's not preventing me from like drawing all the pixel art for my game by hand, because I want to, and I want that creative, you know, process and the enjoyment of saying like, I did this all by myself, you know? Somebody else using AI to make their game has literally no effect on me, and I could not care less, you know? And I think like, honestly, I think right now a lot of people are very worried about it, but like the end result, like the consumer only cares if there's bad quality output. Like if a consumer receives something and sees that it's the quality that they want, I don't really think they care how it got there, to be honest, for most people. Not everybody, but like the average person doesn't really care. Now, obviously there's like a bunch of issues with like AI slop where it looks like AI and it looks like garbage or performs like garbage or whatever, and that's its own thing. But like if an AI can produce my quality code and it does it the way that I would have done it, then like really what's the issue, you know? I don't know. Little mini rant there. This build is taking a long time, and I think I remember why. Earlier today, I added a function to my point class, the class that's like used across the engine everywhere. And I don't think I ran a build since then, and so it'll be so much faster when you buy a MacBook Ultra this winter. Yeah. maybe. Thing is, honestly, it's just slow because well, because I'm streaming. It's actually like a noticeable performance thing, because I multicast to YouTube and Twitch, and then I have like a bunch of extra stuff open. It uses more RAM, and then I have to limit how many cores I use on my CPU to prevent it from like lagging out my stream. So the answer is more cores. I'm gonna go on downloadmorecpucores.com and we'll do that. Download more RAM. Man, this build is killing me. It's like, at least it's not lagging up my stream like it was before. but it's so painful whenever I change something that's like, stop posting links. Why? Nightbot, what's up with you, Nightbot? I don't care if Corbin posts a link. Let me see. Nightbot is like overly, what's the word? Overly excited, I guess I would say. Let me see. While this builds. I don't like that for Nightbot. There's like 2 different accounts depending on what you're using. Like if I want, like I had to set up Nightbot 2 separate times. Once for YouTube and then once for Twitch. Why? You know? Why can't that be one thing? Like it's like literally 2 separate accounts. Like if I want to go change something on the Twitch settings for Nightbot, I have to log out of the one that's logged into YouTube and then go to the Twitch one and then change the setting there. It's really weird. Links, timeout whitelist links, moderator, timeout message. I don't think I even really have it set up to block links. Stop posting links, warning. Where did that come from? Just turn this off for now. Weird. I turned it off. You can post that link if you want to, but I don't know why it was on to begin with. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and run now that the build finally finished. The subsequent ones should be way faster because I'm not making any engine changes. It was a joke that AWS lets you download more cores. I see. Alright, so we're in the world. I'm gonna give myself cheats so that I don't have to worry about dying. And I'm gonna give myself infinite fuel. And then I'm gonna go to the right side of the map, which is where that little cave is that we were just working on. I need to make the mouse cursor auto hide after some time. It's really annoying, like when I'm trying to record or when I'm just like not caring about I'm not caring about the mouse cursor, that it just stays there on the screen. I gotta move it out the way. I don't know, it might just be a me thing. I wasn't expecting the cavern to be there yet. He's moving too fast. Okay. So yeah, it's supposed to feel like a tight little landing challenge or flight challenge. You can totally do this with the legs out too. I tested it. So you don't have to retract your legs if you don't want to, but it's probably better to do it with a leg retracted because you're more maneuverable. I also don't know how hard this is because like I fly this thing all the time, so I feel like I've gotten like a really good feeling for it. Wait, this is the old. Oh, I know why. Because I didn't transfer over the assets. I think I have to do SB assets to bring them over. Basically that's I separated my asset copying portion of my build so it doesn't do it every time. Because if I have it copy the assets every single time I build, I'm just wasting a bunch of time, you know? Because usually the assets aren't changing or anything like that, you know? And it is slow. It's because I have like that map file for the terrain that I was drawing. It's like 80 megabytes, dude. It's uncompressed. So like, because it's a bitmap file, it's not a PNG, so it's uncompressed, and I'm gonna eventually switch it over to be a PNG, so it should be significantly lower because the majority of it is just black pixels or transparency. So I'm hoping that it'll get compressed down to like sub, I don't know, like maybe like 10 megabytes, 15 megabytes. But obviously it's still going to be uncompressed in memory when I'm actually rendering it. So I need to put in a like terrain, I guess terrain art chunking thing where I just take the input and I slice it so we don't have the entire terrain in memory at all times, you know. Yeah, even though I'll have to think about how I do it, because actually no, I was gonna say like it would suck to do it like the terrain slicing might not matter at all, because I would have to like load the whole 80 megabyte thing into memory. Like even if it's like 15 megs compressed, it'll become 80 megs uncompressed in memory, and then just to slice it to get the chunk that I want, just to place it, and then throw away the 80 megs. But I forgot that's not how I'm gonna do it, and that's like a stupid way to do it. I would pre-slice the terrain. It would be like a step, like during the copy resources or something. I'd take the file, slice it into like however many chunks, and then save them as separate assets that can just get loaded in. Okay, that should have copied the level over. And then yeah, if this feels good and if it matches all my other criteria, then I can go and update my terrain mask with the new collider segments and use that to paint. Let me give myself cheats. Do not go gentle to infinity, and then we'll fly over to that. Hey Pirate, how's it going, man? How you doing this fine evening? Okay, I think, are we? Yeah, we're below the cave. Did you ever end up working on that game? I remember you were saying that you were going to start working on a game, Pirate. Okay. Now, I don't have to fly this super carefully. I could just let myself drop down, but I feel like it is worth doing it every time just so I can make sure that it feels the way I want it to. You know what I mean? But if I do hit myself, it doesn't really matter because I have damage turned off right now. Yeah, like right there. Didn't matter. Is this the new map? I think yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Cool. There's really not that much space to land there, actually. But does that matter? Oh, you know what I didn't think about? I didn't think about the fact that from the lander point of view, I can do this. And I can see that there's nothing up there. So I think I at the very minimum, I want to expand that upwards at least a little bit. But it's fine from the lander like it's fine. I think it'll be fine from the player perspective. Okay, so yeah, the player fits through there, totally fine. And not really. I've been liking 3D modeling more and hating coding more. I found I'm more of a 3D modeler than a solo coder. Fair, dude. Totally fair. I get you. I actually think it's fine that the player can't see up there. What have you been working on 3D modeling? Yeah, I think it's fine that the player can't see up there because you can still see up there when you're in the lander. So it's like you can see that there's like some collapsed thing, you know? So you get the vibe without me having to bring the cavern roof down ridiculously low, you know? So I think that actually works fine. So I think the only adjustment that I actually need to make here is I need to... I think I think I need to just extend this so that if I do this kind of like look up thing, that it doesn't look terrible. It's a little more terrain painting up there. I mean, I was gonna have to paint it anyway, one way or another, but yeah. And the cool thing is that this ends up being roughly the same height as this tube here, so it feels believable as well. Right now I'm making a tube buggy. I had a buddy of mine make some trailing arms and A-arms for it since I'm teaching him J-beam and JSON, but I'm gonna have to teach him topo first. I don't know what half of that means. That's crazy. I don't know what a tube buggy is, or what a trailing arm or an A-arm is. I know what JSON is, but I don't know what J-beam is. Break it down for me, buddy. Yeah, okay. I think this is good. So there's less rework here than we would have had to do otherwise. Very good news, meaning I can just kind of hop into the editor. And all I have to do is edit that top portion there. So I want to edit this collider. I'm going to grab this point, and I'm going to replace between them. Here, all I really need to do is kind of keep bringing it out. Now I know that so I'm debating, because like this needs to feel natural, if that makes sense. Like it can't just seem like, oh, this was already trending downwards, and then it got to this really thin point and it fell. Like I want it to feel like there was some like thick layers of regolith, and then this kind of collapsed downwards. So I think I need to have it, I don't know, because I do need it to go up at the same time. Do I? I just need to make sure that this goes far enough out that you can't see it on the lander where it goes off to the right here. I need to make sure that it goes far enough left as well. But the problem is I have this tube here, so you'll kind of be able to see it. But this could kind of go up. Like this could sort of be a mountain, and then this could be like a lower down bit of ground, you know? Like a cliff kind of vibe here. I think that's what I'll do. So this just needs to go far out. Kind of like further than you'd be able to see in the lander, but maintain this sort of thickness here, you know? JBeam and JSON is the code and language from BeamNG. Okay, the game. Okay. JBeam holds nodes and beams that pull each other in a certain way, and that keeps them from exploding and creates soft body deformation in physics. BeamNG runs on a real-time engine where nodes and beams where the nodes and beams your program is in actually represent physical components. Okay. For example, you can have one node for the top of your shock and one for the bottom. Okay, that's cool. I didn't know that's how they did it. So BeamNG then is effectively, it's like programmable. Is that how it is? So you can like create whatever cars and whatever models in there that you want. Is that the idea? Because I've seen videos of people like testing a bunch of different cars and like driving off of cliffs and like, oh, which car is gonna survive the 5,000 foot drop? You know. Which car is the safest? Like, I've seen those videos, and they're like kind of surprisingly addictive to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they always get me. I always watch them. Okay, so I don't think that the landers can see that far out. So I think we're good. I'll have to test it again, but I think from here we can kind of go up way up like that. And then here, something like that. Here we basically just bring down some cliff sides. Doesn't have to be amazing, because most of this is not going to be seen. As a matter of fact, I remember it was like not even there. So I could probably bring this down even further. But if by some off chance it is visible from somewhere else, probably wouldn't hate myself to add a few more points here. I can always remove them later if anything. Maybe add like a little shelf here, kind of thing. Alright, I think that's good. Now I just need to go and actually confirm that that looks fine. Hop back into the game. Okay, let me... I love the BeamNG meme videos where they see what would happen if you attach the 787 turbine to Fiat. That's funny. I don't think I've seen that. I've seen like a bunch of like crash test ones. That's really funny though, 787. But the bottom node would have to have multiple nodes as mounts. When you add a node, you add a physical part. Suspension isn't pre-built. You have to actually program the nodes and beams to work like real suspension would. Your values have to match real life. It sounds complicated, but once you start reading the actual BeamNG dev's JBeam structure and making it yourself, it's relatively simple. That's cool. So you said you're making a tube buggy. So what exactly is that? A tube buggy. I haven't. Is that like an actual vehicle, or is this like a vehicle that you've created for the purpose of that game? So I don't think I've ever heard of a tube buggy. And so I'm guessing you've been, you said you've been working on 3D modeling, so you've been working on modeling the parts for the tube buggy in BeamNG, is what I'm getting here. Sounds fun. That sounds like a fun hobby, not gonna lie. You know, it'd be really cool if someone did something like BeamNG, right? Same exact concept, but like for aircraft and spacecraft. Like you create rockets or whatever. It doesn't even have to like actually let you leave the atmosphere or anything like that. Just to like, you have like proper deformation physics and like material bending and stuff like that. It could be really cool. Look at that. Skills. Get on my level. Look at that. Okay. Put out my legs here. Oh, god damn it. I forget every single time about the fucking assets. I have to run SB assets to bring them over. Jesus. It's like a dune buggy, the ones you see in sand dunes with the big engines and sand pedals. I'll send screenshots in Discord in a little bit. You can fly in BeamNG, but it's not real air simulation. Yeah, you see, like I want the real air simulation. I want like dynamic torque. I want all of it. you know. Air resistance, everything. Let me see. So you said tube buggy. Let's see, tube. I put tube buddy, which does not, that doesn't sound very PG. Okay, tube buggy. Huh. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. So it's like made of tubes. All right. Okay, I get this. So it's literally a dune buggy made of tubes. All right. I have one of these in Grand Theft Auto 5, and it is so fun to drive. Let me see. Like, what does the GTA 5 one look like? No, it's not that. There's one that's like, they didn't remove it, right? GTA 5 tube car. I don't know how else would I phrase that. It's literally, it looks like a tube buggy. Check Discord. I keep Discord off during streams because I end up getting pinged with a bunch of notifications. But let me see. Let me pop it open real quick. Discord. Let's see what we got. That's popping open. While it's open, I want to see if I can find the one from GTA, because Dune. It's not this one. It was like, I don't know, it was cooler looking than that. I swear it was, at least. Let's see. Now's a good time to mention Stroller Goat Discord. If you just do !Discord in the chat, you get a link. Okay, I see. I'm gonna pull up. Let me see. I'm gonna pull up one of these in the. There you go. It's looking dope, dude. So this is what Pirate's been working on. Really cool looking. Let me see. Grab another one of these images. Top view. Open. There we go. This looks sick, dude. It's really nice. Let me see. I did that. Okay, my build finished. We can hop back over the code. Check Discord. Ramp car. That's the other Bucky. That's a rock bouncer. Rock bouncer. Is that rock bouncer? Oh, okay. So what you sent is not the same thing? Here, let me hop back over to that. Thing looks mean. Looks really cool. Open image link. Yeah, look at that. It's coming along really well, dude. Looks pretty sick. What'd you say it was called? The rock bouncer? Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Yes. Oh, I think it was this. Yes. Pretty sure it was something like this. Yeah, that looks sick. All right. Got the game back. All right. So now we should have that new updated map in place, and we can go check it out. Give myself infinite fuel, and whoa, what is going on? Damn, I got spawned really far left. Is that just how I have my spawn point set up? I don't remember. Scan auto right, so we get a good view of where that entrance is. There we go. It's really hard to gauge distance with the scanner. I need to find a good way to tell, because like height wise you can tell how far you are from the ground because you can use the altimeter, but like I have no clue how far I am from this by looking at it. Maybe I can have, I don't know, like different colors depending on how far away the dots are. I don't know. I want to minimize how much the player has to like rely on colors to know stuff about the game, though, you know? Okay, so tubes here. Let's see. Yeah, so damn it. Fuck. I was hoping that you wouldn't be able to see that from out here. But like when you're far enough out, you can still zoom. You can use your like little right click thing to see that over there. This is like a ridiculous level of zoom though. I don't know. Do I even want to support that? That's like a lot. Maybe. I don't want to limit it too much. But yeah, you would see through. No, you wouldn't actually. You would not see through this. Okay, okay. I forget. All of this gets covered, right? So the only time I need to actually care about it is once you're in here. Because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna have another layer on top of this, like in the foreground, to cover the entire cave. So you're not gonna see anything. And then once you go into the cave, there's gonna be a shader that shows you, like, it's gonna like let you see through the wall, if that makes sense. So in that way, I just need to care, like, from here, how much can you see? And even then, I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna keep a shader so that it's like showing you like a small circle around the lander, so you can't even see that far anyway, because you shouldn't be able to see like deep through walls or anything like that. That's kind of weird. So I actually don't need to care about it that much. I just need to make sure that from down here you can see. Yeah, okay. So we land here. Okay. Now from here, if I look up, oh, it looks totally reasonable. Let me try to get as far right as I can. Okay, look to the right. Yeah, that still looks good. Okay. So what I can do then is take that, and I built this little export thing that exports my terrain lines from the editor, so that I can then go into Sprite and overlay it on top of my map file where I'm drawing and paint that. So I think I need to be in collider edit mode, and I just do Command E, and then that exports a map guide, and you can see that here in the logs. So what I can do then is I'll pop open Sprite. I already have the previous map loaded in here. Let me see. Okay, so this is a map that I've been painting with the old previous version of that cave that I didn't love, right? Now what I want to do is file. I want to open. Like, yeah, I can just open it by itself actually. So that's in a temporary file, temporary folder, Act 0 guide, right? So that's just gonna be a bitmap, and it's just filled with a like a magenta line, if you can even see it. It's very, yeah. So that's the collider, right? So I'm gonna grab this whole collider from here. I'm gonna throw it in here on a new layer. Okay, so you can see like this is, everything should pretty much stay the same, right? And it more or less has, it looks like. But these colliders, like this area here, changed, right? Where we used to have a dip, now we have all this. So all I need to do then is go into my mask. Let me think about this actually. What's the cleanest way for me to do this? I think what I want to do is I want to grab from this collider guide. So first of all, I'm going to delete this old collider guide. I'm going to rename this. It's a collider guide. I still want to have it named that. But then what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab... from here, because I think that's where it starts to diverge. Grab all of that, right? And then mask, I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna paste it into mask. So now, even if I get rid of, like, I hide collider guide. Oh, damn it. Wait, I think I missed some from down there. Let me undo that. I think I needed to just go lower to capture everything. Okay. I think that, yeah, that's everything. Okay. And copy that. And then I'll go in. Fuck, I copied from the wrong layer. God damn it. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Oh my god, why middle mouse button resets your click? That's annoying. Okay. Start from here. Can't even tell if that's the whole thing. I'm gonna grab it from here. Alright. And actually, instead of editing the mask directly, I'm gonna make a new layer above the mask. And I'm gonna throw it in there. I'm gonna turn off the collider guide. And then I'm going to take this color. Because basically what I want to do is I want to fill in this area with just blackness. This area that had more than just blackness before. Something maybe like that. Okay. I'm gonna grab that and fill. Cool. Now it's filled with blackness, right? Now the other thing I want to do, this magenta line here, I need to replace with black as well. There's a tool in Aciprite that lets me do that, I think. Pretty sure it's like edit, replace color. Yeah. Can I not select magenta? Where's my color picker? Why can't I? What? Okay, one sec. I'm gonna color pick it. File or edit, replace color. Yes. So it's gonna be from magenta, and then I just wanted to replace it with black. So straight black. Boom. Okay. That only applies to the active layers, so that's good. So we get to keep our mask from before and the other layer. Okay. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because this area used to be black and it is not anymore. So what I need to do effectively is on layer 3, I need to basically, oops, take this and connect to here. How do I want to do this actually? Because we have basically this area here that needs to get like cleaned out, if that makes sense. On layer 3. Well, actually, on the mask itself. The mask is what has that darkness. A little tricky. Should I not have merged it, maybe? I think I don't want to change, like, do the color replacement yet, actually. I think I want to keep the color. as is. Yeah. I think I want to keep the color as is. And then I'm going to take this, I'm going to connect these with a white line. And then I'm going to merge this layer down onto mask, right? So now mask has this horrible looking pink line on it. But what I can do is, can I do paint bucket with empty fill? Let me see. So select an empty, fully transparent color. Yeah, 0 opacity, and boom, paint bucket that. Okay, that's good. Now, what I'll do is I will erase this line here. Boom. Okay. That works. And then now I can do that same color replacement. So that I did before. So I select that, edit, replace color to black. Gotta make sure it's black. Keeps trying to make it not black. Okay, cool. And okay. So there, now I have the new collider shape transposed onto my mask. That's good. And I can go and I can start adapting this to match this shape for my painting. Yeah. And then before this was like, there was like a downturn here, which no longer happens. But okay, so that's good. Now what I can do, I still want to make sure that this looks good. So I'm gonna erase these. I'm gonna erase these. Boom. Okay. Actually, let me go ahead and grab this. Just extend that out a little bit. Is that how that would go? I think it would go a little more like that. Doesn't matter too much. This is just for testing, but fill that in. And then fill that with black. Cool. All right. Then I'm gonna export this. File, oops, file, export, Jesus. File, export as. And that's gonna override my actual terrain file. And then I'm gonna go back to the code. And in the code, I'm gonna uncomment that part that is hiding the terrain mask. I'm gonna rebuild. So that's gonna be SB assets first to transfer over the assets. And then after I finish transferring the assets over, then I'll do an actual build again to load the actual code. Oh man. Yeah, productive day today. I've been thinking about working on that like collider redraw thing for like weeks. I was like debating whether I wanted to do it now or not, because like it was such a small part of that terrain that I wanted to redo, and I was like, I'm kind of okay with the way that it already looks. I just had a better idea for how it could look, you know. And I was like, is it worth me like going and changing all that now for like an Act 0, for an Easter egg portion of Act 0? It's not really going to make that big of a difference, because it's literally just the shape of the cavern. It's a bit more storytelling-esque, if that makes sense. Like there's more environmental storytelling that way, and it also kind of alludes to more of like what's happening in the story, I guess, that before you even really get introduced to it. But it's a very minor tidbit, so I was like, I don't know if this is worth doing now, or if I should just like worry about implementing the collider redraw thing later when I'm working on the Act 1 map, you know. Because I'll need it at some point. I knew I was going to need it at some point. But then, like earlier today, I finally got, or like yesterday or something like that, I got to the point where I was like up to that area in the drawing, and I was like, man, like this is gonna look so much better if I can do the environmental storytelling here and just draw it the way I want it. So I was like, let me just do this now, you know. Random question, what's the stack frame? So the stack frame is, it's my personal blog. I didn't really want to just call my blog alexdevjani.com. This was like a few years ago when I started it up. I don't know why I didn't want to call it that, but yeah, it's just where I write stuff. I don't really write stuff there very often. Like, as you can see, like 2024 and then 2026, like 2 years between my blog posts. But it's there. Sometimes I just talk about stuff that I work on. So like when I was working on my programming language, there was an interesting problem that I solved, because that language compiled to WebAssembly, and WebAssembly doesn't support like closures or really functions in the same way. So I had to get creative with how I transpiled my functions that were closures, like a function that contains another function inside of it. So I wrote a blog post about that. But yeah, it's mostly just me talking about stuff that I've worked on that I thought was cool. Oh, whoops, started the game up by accident. I meant to do a build of the game there. And yeah, then recently I worked on Substrate, which is like an AI for agents. Anybody who works with agentic like systems. A lot of time you'll have this issue where like you'll see the agent like relearning the same stuff over and over again about your environment. So like, for example, you know, like let's say you have multiple projects on your computer because it's like your work computer, and one project is like using TypeScript and another project is using Ruby, right? Whenever you start up the agent, it has to go, and like if you're asking it to do a task, it's going to go and try to discover like, oh well, let me read some files from the project and see what's in here, you know. And maybe you have like an agent's MD file or whatever, but even then, like, you have to keep that up to date as your projects evolve, so it gets annoying. But Substrate basically lets your agents kind of have their own memory bank of things that they like figure out and feel like it's worth remembering. And then other agents later, like when you start up a new agent, they'll try to check their memory bank first before they go and actually look through your computer and start digging through your files. So it's just, and they can do it using natural language. So it's not like indexed with keywords. I'm not trying to parse out keywords. I'm literally indexing everything with natural language so that the agent can then ask questions to the system using natural language. It's pretty cool. I found it to be useful for my stuff when I do stuff at work that requires, you know, AI usage. I found it to be pretty nifty. So okay, so now we should have the art in for the game for that map. So we'll see. It's still gonna look, you know, that cavern's gonna look like shit because we haven't painted anything in there, but ooh, fuck. I messed up immediately. I forgot to remove one of the layers. Or I forgot to hide one of the layers. I was supposed to go in here into ASIP, right? And disable these layers. Because these layers I just have visually for myself so that I'm not staring at a black, white and gray grid, you know, and like making me want to kill myself. So I just put in like a little nice blue background there, but then I have to, every time I export it, I have to remember to disable that layer. I could probably change it. I could probably like write an export script or something like that to change how the export works to make sure that it automatically disables those layers for me, but it's really not worth the time, you know. It's usually faster to just go and click 2 buttons, but that does mean that I have to resync the assets over, which is annoying. Ah, man. I wish this was faster than it is. Yeah, I'm excited to I just realized I still had Asset Sprite open. I'm excited to have this terrain stuff kind of wrapping up soon so that I can actually start adding more gameplay stuff. It's weird. It's like you bounce between like adding gameplay and art, and for a while I was neglecting my art flow and just focusing on code a lot, and you know, you could see that because then I just had a bunch of gray boxes everywhere. But now I've been working on hand painting this terrain. Honestly, it's been like 3 weeks, legit like 3 weeks, and it's been taking so long. Enjoyable, you know, it's like coloring a coloring book, and it's relaxing, and it's nice to see the final product, but it's been taking a long time. So I'm looking forward to being done with this portion of it so that I can move on to the next thing, you know. I really wish that this asset syncing stuff was faster. Need a 3D model. 3D. I don't know how would I don't think I could really incorporate a 3D model for the game, but I appreciate the offer, man. Maybe for my next game, Descent Horizon 3D, we'll do a 3D model. I'll have you on the team. Speaking of that, though, there is a really cool looking lunar lander simulator on Steam that I've been contemplating picking up for research purposes on my game. Yeah, it was a joke. I figured. But yeah, it looks really cool. I'll show it after this. It's like you literally pilot lunar lander in 3D. And I don't really know what else you do, but it looks like, I think it has VR support or something like that. It looks pretty cool. Give myself that infinite fuel. All right. Okay. Now we'll make our way down in there. I feel like it looks so much better with the art in place. It actually looks like a real game. It's gonna look better once I have an actual background here instead of seeing the stars, which doesn't make sense. But one thing at a time, of course. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, that looks decent. Cool, yeah, that's exactly the vibe that I wanted. So basically, I wanted to look like there was solid ground here, right? This was all connected, and then for one reason or another, it caved in. And I'll have like rubble here or whatever to depict that, but I feel like this feels pretty good to me. Now it's just the matter of going and drawing that in and painting it, but you know, something to work on. Do you work at a company where you code and this game is just your side job? Yeah, so I'm a software engineer. I've been working as a software engineer for like 10 years, give or take. I think I hit 10 years in June, this June, pretty sure. But yeah, this is my hobby, honestly. Like, I've always had like programming projects that I do after work because I just really enjoy writing code. Feels good. Like it stretches my brain, you know. And this is just the latest one of my projects. This is also probably the longest project that I've worked on now. Going on a year, a little more than a year, but yeah. Maybe it's a flat planet. Yeah, it basically it is definitely a flat planet. But I still want to have nice backgrounds and stuff, you know. Okay. I mean, at this point, honestly, the next thing that I need to work on is just painting this. Because I'm happy with the code progress. Like, did everything I needed to do here. What I need to do, actually, I need to delete that temp file. I don't think it's committed. Where is that? Or do I have that in my git ignore? I think I have that in my git ignore, but let me see. It's assets. No, my bad. It's in just assets. Assets source. Temp. Or is it just assets temp? Really? Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna remove that. Because I don't, it's like 80 gigs. I don't want it in there twice. Or sorry, 80 megabytes, not 80 gigs. Can you imagine? Okay, so I'm down to commit the map updates, the mask updates, the asset file for the mask, and then the collider edit behavior changes that made it possible to actually edit the collider. Let me add all of those. Git commit. Finalize collider, or allow collider redrawing, I guess is how I phrase that. Update act 0 mask with new collider shape. Okay. Push that up. There was one more code change that I actually did want to do. It's in my collider edit behavior. I have this focused collider redo stack. I think I'm gonna use that for Command Z, and Command R. So in here, I clear the collider redo stack. When do I actually redo stack? Do I? Remove last collider. Remove focus collider last vertex. So I think what I want to do, in order to implement like a undo and redo for the collider, like a redraw portion, maybe I want to change this. Instead of calling it focus collider redo stack, I'll just call it redo stack, make it generic, and then I'll use that here, and I'll create a new thing for like a new set of functions for the collider redraw stuff. So I think in here, in collider edit behavior HPP, I'll just rename this redo stack. Same thing here, just I'm gonna have to go rename it everywhere. Okay. Save it in all those spots. Now, where else was redo stack being used? Redo stack is also in, okay, when we click in the collider edit, it'll clear it. Makes sense. On escape press, it clears it. Yeah, that makes sense as well. Yeah. I guess... exit collider, redraw mode. I'm trying to think of where I should put this one. Yeah, I'll clear it in exit collider redraw mode. View stack.clear. Okay. Okay, where else? Remove. Okay, this is the same ones. Okay. So there's the. This is the undo for the focused collider. The command Z. And then the command, like the command R, is here. Okay. So I think I'm gonna make basically the exact same functions, but for the other, for the redraw segment vertices. So remove redraw segment last vertex. And then if let me see something. Remove. How does this remove focused collider last vertex? Where's that used? It's inside. Okay, it's in the command Z. Okay, I think I wanna clean that up a little bit actually. I'm gonna have an on undo and an on redo. Void on undo. Void on redo. And then actually I'm gonna put those here in the header just to keep it neat. Now on escape, after that I'll put the on undo and on redo. Game editor, collider edit behavior on undo. On redo. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into that collider edit input behavior in here. And where was that? Remove focused collider last vertex. So right now this is what my contents of the on undo will be. And then I'll update that after. But so tool behavior on undo. And then this is going to be the contents of my redo. Wait a sec. Ah, okay. It's not that simple actually. So if not shift held, then I'll do on redo. Because shift R is to enter redraw mode. So tool behavior on undo, or sorry, on redo. Okay. And then yeah, otherwise I still want it to enter collider segment redraw mode. So right now on undo we'll always try to call remove focused collider last vertex. Which I don't want to do. Move focused collider. Is that the only place where this is used? Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'll do. I will only call this if we have a focus collider. If focus collider, blah, right? Then, if we get past there, oh wait, if we have a focus collider, because we're gonna have a focus collider whether we are in the redraw mode or in like the collider edit mode. So what I think I actually want to do the other check first. So if I am is redrawing segment, then I want to do remove segment last vertex. And then if I have a focus collider, I'll do the collider last vertex. I think that's good because it still needs to check if there's a focus collider. And then same thing here. If is redrawing segment, return. What did I redo? I didn't call it focus collider action though. What did I call it? Did I even make one for it? Remove focus collider last vertex. Okay, so I think I just want to add remove redraw segment last vertex, and then void redo redraw segment action. They're not the best names, but it's consistent at least. And then redo. Sorry, this needs to be redo redraw segment action. Get a semicolon there. And then same thing if focused collider. Boom. All right. Now, where do I have redo focused collider action? What is that defined as? So I can just, I already checked before, so I don't need that. Cool. All right. So I know I'm gonna have for the redraw segment last vertex. For me to remove one, I have to make sure that it's there to be removed. So I think I need to go to, where was I starting? Oh, redraw segment points. Redraw segment points. Dot empty. Oops. Empty. Return. If it is empty, return. If not, this seems weird. There's no way this is correct. If not focus collider points empty for removing the focus collider. So if they're not empty, return. That doesn't make sense. Is that what it was? Or is that just my changes? Yeah, I fucked up. So that is not what it was. So it should not have the not there. Okay. Now, I basically want to do the exact same thing as I'm doing here. There's probably room for some cleanup here too, because the code's the exact same, except it's which thing are we modifying? Not reference. What am I doing? Redraw segment points dot back. And then I'm gonna add that to the redo stack. Cool. And then I need to do the opposite for when, so yeah, for when we actually want to redo. Collider editor behavior, redo, redraw. Segment action. Why is my LSP is not showing me my suggestions there? It's kind of annoying. Okay, redo stack dot back, and then we're not adding it to the focus collider. We're adding it to, where was it? To redraw segment points. There we go. It's kind of icky to have those be two separate functions, and they're literally just doing the same thing except on a separate array. But it's also like, what am I'm gonna like abstract it just to save myself like 5 lines of code, you know? It's fine. Okay. I don't know, it'll probably bug me that it's the same code. Because then what I could do is I wouldn't even need I could just pass in a reference, honestly, and then in the undo and redo functions I can do it that I can pass it in there because I'll know which ones. I think maybe that's what I'll do. So yeah, okay. So where was it? How should I name it? Like remove last vertex. Like remove last vertex and what? Like and make restorable, I guess. And then that'll take in a vector of points, a reference to one. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. And then restore vertex from redo stack, I guess. And then this is going to be the destination. Where are we putting that vertex back into? Maybe I'll call this source. Yeah. Okay. Remove last vertex and make storable. It's gonna be a long function name or function definition. Break it up into 2 separate lines. Okay, source. Now I can just do if source is empty, return. Otherwise, I grab the last vertex from source.back, pop back, and then I push. Boom. Now same thing here. Restore vertex from redo stack. The only reason I'm doing this, honestly, is because I can see in the future myself getting annoyed at myself because I fix a bug in one place with respect to undo and redo, and then it doesn't fix it in both places. And then I'll be like, Should have just done it the right way. Okay. If redo stack is empty, we return point to add. Comes from redo stack, and then we just add to destination. Cool. Now I can remove focused collider last vertex, and instead it'll be remove last vertex and make restorable, and then I'll pass focused collider points in as a reference. Same thing here, remove last vertex and make restorable, except here it's going to be the redraw segment points. Now we have two function calls here doing the same thing. Just differing on one thing. So I'll do this check here. So if for redrawing segment, because it always checks if it's empty. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if we're redrawing the segment, we'll throw that in there. Otherwise, we'll pass in the focus collider points. So I'll grab those. Boom. Put that on its own line just to make it a little easier to read. Then we can remove that. Easy peasy. Then here, I don't need redo focus collider action anymore. I can do restore vertex from redo stack. Focused collider points. Same thing though, I can do is redrawing segment. If I am, then I'll pass in the redraw segment points. Otherwise, that's when the focus collider points get passed in. And boom. I don't need the return there either. Okay, that's cleaner. And then I can remove this and that. Okay, that should be a cleaner implementation for both. So we'll build the editor and test it. See how that goes. Ah, man. Oh. Looks like I had that referenced somewhere. Redo focused collider action was referenced inside of collider edit behavior. Redo focused. Oh, because I actually have it defined and I don't need it. Okay, I think that was all. Try that build again. Hopefully I didn't break my regular undo logic. But we'll see, I guess. So, okay. Let's see. I'm gonna create a new collider out over here. And then I'm gonna Command Z. So Command Z still undoes, Command R still redoes. Awesome. Okay. That's good. So I can delete that collider. And then now for the moment of truth, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grab this collider. I'm gonna grab these. Gonna replace them. Gonna start doing something here. Oh wait, I don't like that. Command Z, Command Z, Command Z. Oh wait, no, I did like that. Command, Command, Command. Okay, cool. Perfect. That works. That does what we wanted to do. Awesome. Trying to think if there's anything else that I want to do. I think that was it. I think that's all I wanted to accomplish today, to be honest. Pretty happy with what we got. Git commit. Make it possible to undo and redo. I don't know. Vertex additions in collider redraw mode. Perfect. All right. So I think I'm going to call it here, guys. It's been awesome. It's been really nice chatting with all of you. Yeah, I'm going to throw a couple of these obligatory links in the chat here. Anybody who's interested in checking out the game on Steam, check it out on Steam. Anybody who is interested in hopping in our Discord, we can keep chatting in there. There's a Discord link. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night. It's been awesome. Everybody have a great rest of your night. See ya.